Participants, please mute yourself. Okay, I think we can start now. Ramya, you can start
Okay,
with
sir.
the introduction.
Yes, sir. Good evening, everyone. I am Ramya from third year CSC department, AIT. It is my great pleasure to warmly welcome all the faculty members, dignitaries, and participants of today's program of the ATAL Online Faculty Development Program on Digital Forensics in Cybersecurity, organized by Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Arvas Institute of Engineering and Technology. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce our distinguished guest for today's ATAL Faculty Development Program, Mr. Mahesh Vastrad. He is a cybersecurity professional, GRC auditor, and industry expert, currently serving as the founder and managing director at Agamya Cybertech. Mr. Mahesh brings extensive hands-on experience in ISO 27001 and ISO 9001, auditing, penetration testing, vulnerability assessment, information security, cyber law, and PCI DSS compliance. He has worked closely with industry, academia, and government bodies, including Karnataka State Police, contributing significantly to cybersecurity awareness, compliance, and capacity building. He is also a board member at Karnataka State Rural Development and Panchayat Raj University, Gadag, and the driving force behind Karnataka's first cyber security summit. With his strong blend of technical knowledge and expertise, today's session promises to be both insightful and impactful. We are honored to have you with us today. I now invite Mahesh Vastrad sir to take over the session. Thank you everyone. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. So give me 2 minutes. I will start the
Okay,
session.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Visible.
Yes, sir. So in the today's session, so I'm going to cover on ISO and compliance frameworks audits for company on cybersecurity as well as cloud compliance, multi-cloud compliance. So if the company is using any cloud uh, security services, cloud services, or if they are using multi-clouds like GCP, AWS, or any other cloud services. So how you are going to implement security over there through those compliances to for that multiple instructors. Okay. So other than that, so we're going to cover vulnerability assessment. So already you already learned how vulnerability assessment and pen testing works, right? So vulnerability assessment is basically on we're not going to exploit any vulnerability or error or bug, right? So we'll start with the compliances, how it works, all the basics. Um, so if you have any doubts in the middle, so you can ask me anytime. Okay. So so information security is nothing but, so whatever the assets are there, we are going to cover when it comes to information security. So asset in the sense, so what are the IT things? Okay, it might be network in the sense routers, switches, network servers, right, and internet. So that also comes under network, right? So that those we are going to cover in this one. Information security. When it comes to information security uh, of organization, so we're going to consider these things: IT related assets, and along with that one, so any web application, mobile application, or public facing networks. Okay, so these are the things we are going to cover in this one, and all the printers as well, Wi-Fi, routers. Okay, if you are using fibers, air fibers, right, hotspot, whatever it is. So if it is related to internet, if it is the any system which are connected to internet or any digital systems, it might be IoT device as well. Okay, so we're going to consider it as a information security. So when it comes to information security, is a set of tools and practice that you can use to protect your digital and analog information. So basically, ISO or any other compliance or framework, so we're going to design it for the organization to secure them from the external attacks. So external attacks in the sense, it might be network attack, ransomware attack, DOS attack, DDoS attack, any kind of attack. It might be a phishing attack as well. So someone sends. So most of the companies face attacks through the phishing links, social engineering itself. So 90% of attacks done through phishing mails itself, right? So for example, 2019 Uber got breached. Uber data got breached, right? So that time one employee, so he downloaded something from the internet and it triggered, right? So that is the malicious application that he was downloaded. I don't know, but unintentionally he did that one. So instantly, all the connected systems, whatever the connected systems are there, so they got compromised, and all the information went to the attacker or the hacker. Okay, so this is how it works. So most of the attacks are done intentionally or unintentionally. It is based on the things, particular cases. Okay, so that's why in compliance frameworks or in cyber security, we are going to aim to uh, give information to the all the employees who are present in that organization. Okay, so this is one aspect. Another one is, so insider threats we are going to call. So insider threats might also give all the details to the competitors, or they might misuse those things. Okay, so coming back to information security. So information security protects sensitive information from unauthorized activities. Okay, so unauthorized activities in the sense, as I mentioned, any external attacks, internal attacks in the sense, insider threats. Through insider threats, it might get breached or something like that. Okay, unintentionally or intentionally. So these are the major aspects we're going to cover in information security when it comes to information security. Okay, so they might modify a record, or they might completely delete, destroy all the details from the system server or the host device. So basically, information security components in the sense governance, risk, compliance, confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Okay, so these are the major components we are going to focus when it comes to information security. Any information security is there, any information is there. It might be sensitive or public facing or whatever it is. So we are going to govern those things. So we are going to analyze the risk. We are going to apply the compliance which we need or which the client wants, and confidentiality, availability, and accessibility. So these are the major components. So types of information in the sense application, application security. So any application, website or whatever it is, mobile application, cloud application, okay, even IoT applications. Then infrastructure security. So whatever the internal assets are there, so we're going to call it as an infrastructure security. Okay, so this also comes under information security, cloud security, cloud-based assets. Okay, so if you hosted any application in the cloud using GCP, AWS, or Azure, whatever the Oracle, whatever the cloud service platform is there. So we are going to cover that one as well in the name of cloud security. Then endpoint security, cryptography, incident response. Okay. So incident response, like if any incident happens, so how you are going to respond to that incident. For example, DOS attack has been done through some attacker. So how we are going to respond, how we are going to mitigate that incident, that virus from that attack from the uh, attack. Okay, so then vulnerability management, how you're going to manage the vulnerabilities and how you're going to mitigate the risks or their disaster recovery. So backups and business continuity plans will be there. So how you are going to sustain from these things. It might be natural or human made. So natural in the sense short circuit, fire, or something like that. So if it is comes there, so backups will be there. So through backups we are going to uh, recover all the informations, right? So this is business continuity planning. So then digital forensics. So once the attack is done or incident happened, so we are going to investigate that attack or incident. So how it is done, where it is done, from which attacker or which family, ransomware family, if it is ransomware attack, it is coming. So how they did, all the details we are going to cover these in these things. Okay, so common risks are there, like social engineering attacks, as I mentioned, then insider threats, DOS, DDoS attacks, ransomware attacks. So man in the middle attacks in the network, session hijacking, IP spoofing, mobile and IoT devices attacks. So these are the common information security risks we are going to we are going to face in the industry. Okay, so fundamental principles of information security: asset and information asset. So information in the sense meaningful data which is present in that asset. So for example, in the device, okay, so in the companies we're going to use laptop systems, desktops or servers as well, right? So we're going to store some data over there. So that is the information we're going to collect and store, right? We're going to fetch from the server or the systems. So asset in the sense anything that has value to the organization. So asset, it not only information security, information related one. Okay, even employee is also asset. Physical security, CCTV is also asset. Guards is also asset, right? So whatever that has value, adds value to the organization, that comes under in asset. Okay, so types of information assets are information, the sensitive information, maybe through website we are going to collect all the information. For example, Domino's India server and database is there. So they're going to collect username, passwords, all the credentials, right? Live location, address, locations, details, and card details, UPI payment details. All the details will be stored in that website, right? So it got breached, right? In the Domino's India, data has been breached. Around 13 TBF data it hit. Okay, so that is the information. And then software. Any software we are going to use hardware. Okay, in the hardware itself, firmware or operating systems attacks will be there. And buildings. So all the complete building which we are working, right? A reputation, image of the organization and the services. So these are the types of information for the assets. So what we're going to cover when it comes to information security is printed or handwritten details. Okay, So sometimes employees or anyone, so they're going to carry credentials, handwritten credentials or sensitive information in the printer logs itself. Okay. So they're going to print and paste it to their desktop or wherever it is. Okay, their table. Okay, so we're going to cover that one. Recorded details transmitted by mails. Okay, included in a website. So in website they're going to include few details, right? For example, whenever we are going to open any website, so there you can see privacy and policy, accept cookies, all the details, right? So that is also covers in this one. Presentations, corporate videos, in conversations as well. So these are going to cover. Okay. Well, so when it comes to information security, we are going to focus on CIA triad itself. So already you have you got this one, right? Anyone can explain this one, CIA triad? Am I audible?
Yes, sir. You're audible.
Yeah.
C for confidentiality and I for integrity and CIA stands for availability.
Okay.
It's a basic and most important thing in network security, which may be compromised. So for these three thing only we go for other security related standard mechanisms are used to protect these things in a network.
Okay. Okay. Anyone?
Sir,
Yes, ma'am.
CIA, the three mechanisms that is most important for network security. First is confidentiality, uh, wherein the plain text communicated should not be revealed to the hacker. So it is um, achieved through encryption techniques, I think. Then
Yeah.
availability is to make the legitimate users uh, to ensure that services should be made available, and integrity is about the data, um, which is same as what is communicated from the sender to the receiver.
Okay.
I mean, it should not be altered or modified by the hacker. So
Correct.
integrity.
Yes, ma'am. So this is all about CI. So confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So this is not only for the network security. That comes under in complete organization. For the complete organization, so whatever the data is there, right? So confidentiality in the sense. So information must only be available to the authorized parties or persons. Okay. So what if attacker gains access to the information which is sensitive? So their confidentiality will be breached, right? So this is the high or critical level breach, right? So this is confidentiality, integrity in the sense. So information must remain constant or trustworthy and accurate. Okay, what are the information you have stored? For example, you might using any social medias or any web application, any e-commerce websites, right? So they're going to we are going to provide information, right? Any sensitive information in the sense addresses. Bank details, card details, all the details we are going to provide other card information in any other websites. So that should be trustworthy and accurate, and it should be stored in the confidential manner. Okay, so in the integrity, so if any attacker like takes the session, right? Okay, session hijacking, if does session hijacking, browser hijacking, okay, he might redirect that website to malicious website as well. He might create a phishing website as well, phishing links as well. So through that when we are going to lose the integrity of the information which is stored in that website, it which is must be in the confidential form, right? right? We are going to use cryptographic algorithms to store those details in the confidential manner. It might be so. For example, if you're using WhatsApp, you might see in peer-to-peer end-to-end encryption. SHA-256 is used, right? There are many algorithms are there, so they are going to use those algorithms to secure the information, which is going to store in their browser, their servers or the sites. Okay, so if any attacker in the man in the middle attacks does man in the middle attacks over there, so he might read those message information as well. For that reason, we're going to use cryptographic algorithms, right? Availability. So whatever the data which is you stored or the client stored in that domain or servers, right? That should be available 24 into 7. For example, best example is Drive. Okay, Google Drive we are going to use. So we need we stored the data whenever we want. We are going to access or download the details from the drive, right? Google Drive. Right. So authorized parties only. So who have the access to the drive, so they're going to access or download or view the details. Okay. So in few years back, Instagram and Facebook were down for the for around 6 hours. Okay, so for 6 hours they down because of internal failures, internal issues. So they lost around 100 and 1700 crores for those 6 hours minute. Okay, so this is why availability matters. So people or client will get rid of these things if it is not available. Okay, they might jump into other platforms, they might jump into other clients, other companies as well, right? So this is the main reason we are going to use availability as well. Okay, if the information is not available, if it is still loading, if you are going to access that one, for example SBI bank, this one is there, website is there, or when results are out, so we're going to use wait for many minutes or many hours as well, right? So whatever the data is there, right, so it should be available, it should be easily accessible. So that's why we are going to use CI, confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So all the these three are interconnected. Okay, so basically any attacks is happened or done, incident is done. Okay, so if the confidentiality is compromised, so that means the complete information or details will be lost. And then so integrity and availability, so these comes under in middle or medium or lower level attacks. Okay, so integrity also sometimes it comes under high risk as well. Okay, well, so coming to information security governance, so whatever the information security is there, strategy we are going to do, so we are going to govern that one. So how to achieve this one, how to manage this one, how to approach the risk, how to do the assessment for the those information, how to do the audits, right? Okay, so we are going to make complete strategy for that one. Uh, so if you have any doubts, please. Okay. Shall I continue?
Yes, sir, you continue. I think I muted all. Yeah.
Okay.
I think
Thank you,
someone
sir.
unmuted and talking it. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Okay. So the main elements of information security governance is, so we are going to uh, create our strategy, how we are going to implement, so what compliance it suitable for the company, what framework we are going to use. Okay, so based on that one, so it might be ISO, PCI DSS, GDPR, NIST framework, COBIT framework, CSP, framework, whatever the framework strategy we're going to use. So we're going to select one strategy. So based on that one, we're going to create policies and procedures, and we're going to approach the risk. Risk management will be there. Compliance on audits will happen based on the selected strategy, and also incident response and management. So even though all the strategy, all the compliance frameworks we used, we implemented, still we'll get some incident, right? So if it is there, how we are going to manage that incident? Okay, so coming to the major differences between standard policy and procedures and guidelines. So in the companies, in the organization, in the as well as while we're studying on compliances or frameworks, so most of us are going to confuse between policy and procedures. Okay, so standard in the sense, so mandatory requirement to be followed in order to comply with the given framework or certification or compliance. So whatever the compliance we are going to choose or framework, so we are going to obey with that uh, controls or procedures or guidelines. So that is we are going to call it as a standard. So if you are going to choose ISO 27001 standard or NIST framework, okay, so whatever their clauses are there, their framework, inbuilt framework details are there, we are going to obey to those requirements. We're going to satisfy those requirements. For that, we're going to call it as a standard. So when it comes to policy, so policy in the sense high level statement of management intent. Okay, so we're going to create one high level statement. Okay, for example, password policy. Password policy in the sense, so password should be 12 digits. So it should cover uppercase, lowercase, middle, this one, special character, numbers, alphanumeric should be there. Okay, so this is one standard, high level standard statement I'm going to implement. Okay, so management should review all policies, then they are going to approve through the top management. So once password policy is set, so then procedure will comes. Okay, procedures are documented. So it is like a SOPs, defined steps for achieving policy objectives. Whatever the high level statement we have created, okay, the document which we have created, so we need to apply in the reality, right? So for that one we are going to use procedures. Okay, so they must be delivered from the parent policy, so we are going to refer that policy and implement and create the evidences. Okay, we're going to apply in the real world of that policy, of that high level statements which were created, right? So this is a major difference between policy and procedures. Policy, we're going to create one statement. Okay, so in procedures we're going to define or we're going to implement that statement, okay, in the practical manner. So this is the major, so we're going to achieve that one. Okay, indeed. So this is a major difference between policy and procedures. So in most of the cases, so most of the companies, they create the policy but not going to apply practically. Okay, so procedure they won't follow. So there they are going to lag. So that is the reason some major of the companies gets attack or hit by attacks. Okay, so then guidelines, so we're going to give some guidelines should contain information that will be helpful for the executing the procedures. So we're going to give the steps, this is how it works, this is how we're going to create. So basically flow chart we're going to give them. Okay, uh, so any different sorry, any questions on this one? So basically, standard mandatory requirement of that compliance or framework, policy, high level statement, procedure we are going to implement in practical, guidelines. So best practices recommendation we are going to provide to the client. Any doubts, any queries on this one?
Banking sectors also follow the same policies or different their own, sir?
Banking, they have information security audit kind of things. So from RBI or SEBI, they have released their own levels: level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4 audits. Okay, so basically level 1, level 2 covers all the assets. Level 3, level 4, so that is in depth. So same thing only. So different models will be there.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yes. So again, yeah, banking sector, we are going to
Okay, sir.
cover all the
Thank you.
policies and procedures related to
Okay, sir.
information security.
I'll be meeting the leader.
Yes. Any other doubts?
Sir, is this standard vary from country to country, or is any common through the
Sorry, I'm not able to hear you properly, ma'am.
the standards will be common throughout the globe, or it will be differing in country by country, or according to company it will vary, sir?
Yes, so standards will be same. Okay, so if you select ISO 27001, for example, or whatever the standard you are going to choose, right? So there, the clauses, controls, whatever the things are there, no, defined. So that will be same. But when it comes to implementation to any particular organization, there we need to change sometimes. So many few companies, they won't require that requirement, so they don't have that requirement. Okay, mandatory requirement. So that there we need to ignore those few controls. Okay, we need to avoid those controls. Remaining we need to implement. So based on the companies, but standard will be remain same, but based on the companies, we are going to apply those standards. Hope you got the clarity, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
So startup companies, they are following the rules and regulations, everything, any standard registration is there, sir, for the maintaining the policies, or they can start their own, sir.
When it comes to policies, there is no standard way, sir. Based on their company's requirement, they can prepare their own policies and procedures. What they should do is, so they have to maintain all the policies and procedures document in the documented format, and that should be implemented in the systems as well. That all we need when we are doing the compliance audits or framework audits.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Well, continuing this part. Okay, cybersecurity compliance. So when it comes to cybersecurity compliance, are there two standards and regulatory requirements set forth by some agencies? Okay, so it might be some NGOs or any other organizations. Okay, so we have to follow those standard requirements to achieve the compliances. Okay, so again, so whatever the compliance framework is there, that is completely based on the CIA confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Okay, so the major cybersecurity compliance challenge is for in companies or auditor is there. So uh, industry standard and requirements can overlap. Okay, so sometimes so they're going to purchase the certifications instead of uh, applying all the compliances. They do ignore the compliances standards, require standard requirements as well. Okay, so types of data subjected to cybersecurity compliances are personally identifiable information (PIA), financial information, protected health information. For health information, we have HIPAA compliance. Then religious material, marital status, IP addresses, email addresses, user credentials, biometric data. Okay, so these are the few things are there we're going to cover. Major security regulations are PCI DSS, Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard. So if you're using Google Pay, PhonePe, Paytm, so you might seen that thing. So PCI DSS certified, right? So there we are going to in fintech financial sector we are going to use PCI DSS, or any companies who are dealing with the payments, right? So they are going to apply this one PCI DSS payment card industry and data security standard. HIPAA for health insurance portability, health companies, insurance companies, even the hospitals where they're going to use HIPAA as well. SOC type 1, type 2, system and organization control type 1, type 2. There are two types, type 1 and type 2. Okay. Type 1 is basically policies, procedures. So type 2 is basically a complete control where going to whether it is implemented or not. Then NIST framework, National Institute of Standards and Technology, GDPR, General Data Protection Regulation. So if you're dealing with UK based companies, so again we're going to choose GDPR. Okay. Then ISO. ISO is globally recognized organization, international organization for standardization. So you might see in many sectors or many ways, many areas, ISO 2700900. Even if you are who are using tanks, right, water tanks. So there in that water tank, you might see that on ISO 900 2015, or any products you purchased, there you might see ISO 900 something like that, right? So that is quality management services. So that they went through that regulation or compliance. Okay. So when it comes to IT, so information technology related frameworks, so COBIT is there, ISO 27001 000 series is there, which is ISMS, Information Security Management System. So majorly globally, we are going to use this standard ISO 27001 or 27300 family series. So that completes completely into information security and how we are going to manage the systems. Okay, ITIL, Information Technology Infrastructure Library, and then so these are the few major IT related frameworks we have. Okay. Uh, then cybersecurity framework. So there is a difference between framework and the compliance. So framework in the sense we are going to follow the standards. We need to implement those standards to get that certificate. But when it comes to a framework, so that is this is not a mandatory. It's a volunteer thing. So for example, in the startups, you don't have much budget for the ISO implementation, right? Instead of that one, so you we are going to choose an NIST framework or any framework, right? So we're going to implement that framework in that company. So we no need to uh, follow the complete standard, or we no need to do it from the third parties, or we no need to get the certifications as well. Okay, so it will again the same thing, but we're not going to implement any certifications there. Okay, so use of the frameworks is control framework, program framework, and risk framework. So control framework, so we're going to identify baseline of the controls, access state of technical capabilities. Based on that thing, we're going to implement the frameworks. Okay, so in the control framework, we're going to develop the initial roadmap for the security teams as well. So standard policy process we're going to create. Framework is nothing but so overall security program or complete organization we're going to cover in this one. Risk framework is so we're going to identify risks and then based on the risk. So for example, I don't need that framework to the complete organization. Instead of one application is there, one software is there, based we the complete operations, complete company is running from that application. So we're going to implement that framework that for that particular application or the software. So that is a risk based. So based on that thing we are going to implement. Okay, so a major difference between framework compliance is so improve security posture, So compliance, for example, for NIST framework and ISO compliance or PCI DSS meet legal rules over there. Nature is guidance. We're going to set the guidance. So we're going to satisfy the requirements here there. So in NIST frameworks, flexibility will be there. So here we are not getting any certifications for that one. Voluntarily, we are going to apply those guidelines or frameworks. Compliance in the sense low flexibility will be there because we need to satisfy all the requirements. Then only third party will comes and do the third party audits. Then again, based on that, if all the requirements are satisfied, then only we are going to get the certification. Okay, so focus is on risk and maturity. So compliance is basically evidence and controls. So we need all the documentations for the all the controls, whether it is implemented or not. We need evidences as well. So in the framework, we no need to do the audit. So here we have to do the audits from the second party or third party certification bodies. Okay, so basically our outcome is stronger security. So here you are going to get the certification, and the legal aspects as well, it will be more secure. So this is the major difference between framework and the compliance. Okay, well, in many companies, major companies, they might not compliance oriented, but they might following some framework, some procedures, right? Well, so coming to information security risks. Uh, so information security risk in the sense potential that a given threat will exploit vulnerabilities. So whatever the vulnerability gaps are there in the assets, they may cause harm to the organization. Okay, so whatever the risk is there, so we are going to calculate it through likelihood and consequence. So probability and impact, that is a risk. Okay. Uh, I will come back to this later again. Vulnerability and threat. Vulnerability in the sense a weakness in the system or any bug or error. So that can exploit the system or a device. Okay. Example include weak coding. Okay. Missing antiviruses, weak access controls. So these are all vulnerabilities. So if the attacker is able to exploit this any vulnerability which we found. Okay, so that we're going to call it as a threat, something that can be exploits a weakness, exploit that vulnerability. Okay, include hackers, malware, criminals, natural disasters as well. Okay, so there are many categories are there. So based on that one, so whatever the threat is there for the organization, so that we're going to if it is exploited, then that comes in threat. Okay, well, whatever the risk we may get. Okay, it might be from the public facing details, or it might be from internal, it might be from external. Okay, it might be from legal. Okay, regional, whatever it is. So whatever the risk we are going to get, so there is a standard procedure to respond to that risks, those risks. Okay, so first one is risk mitigation, risk reduction. So whatever the risk we get, so we might mitigate that one. For example, so I hosted one web application. Okay, so that web application is using outdated scripts, JavaScript, for example. Okay, so I can mitigate that one, right? So updating that to a latest version. So that is the risk mitigation, risk reduction. So that is comes under this part. Okay, so take some action to mitigate, reduce the risk. Okay, so mitigation by implementing some level of controls. Okay, or one more example is there. So a server is hosted in the premises on that company or organization. Okay, so there is no access there to that particular room, so everyone have access. That is a risk, right? So we're going to minimize, reduce the risk through applying security controls over there. So only access for the IT team or the top management or the only IT admin, there we're going to reduce the risk, right? So that comes in risk mitigation and risk reduction. Then risk avoidance. So risk avoidance in the sense we're going to avoid that complete risk itself. We're going to remove that risk from the organization, from the business itself. For example, so open ports are there, some network open ports are running. Okay, I might say you that the port number 22 is open, which is SSH is open. We don't need that one. If it is unnecessary, we're going to remove, we're going to avoid that risk itself, right? So here we're going to avoid that risk. Then risk acceptance. So decide to accept the risk. So here what happened? So particularly for the printers or any other application, we need Windows 7, Windows 8 or Windows 10. Okay, Windows 7 you can consider. So if it is changed, so it won't work. So there we are going to accept that one. So whatever happens, so even attack has been done or whatever happens, we are going to accept that risk and we are liable for that risk. So this comes under a risk assessment. We cannot change that one. We cannot avoid that one, or we cannot even reduce the risk over there. Okay, so that times companies will going to accept that risk. So accept their fate as well. And risk transfer. So risk transfer in the sense we're going to transfer that risk to the third parties. Okay, so for example insurance. So uh, if any assets went damaged or something like that, okay, so their companies will be getting insurance policies as well. So we're going to transfer that risk to the third party insurance companies. So this is the risk happened, this is the attack happened, so we lost this much, so we are going to claim that insurance, right? So that is the risk transfer. Or sometimes what happens, so in most of the companies, third parties will maintaining the servers, okay, or the complete business. So there we are going to transfer it to the their company. Okay, they are going to have these insurance for each assets or each servers which they have hosted behalf of these companies. Okay, hope this one is clear. Any doubt? So any doubts in this one, risk response methodology?
Sir, in the risk acceptance regarding to cyber security, how can we accept a risk, sir? If we accept means it will cause more damage, you know.
Yes, ma'am. So that is why, so we are going to communicate with the top management. So if they are ready to accept that one, so they were not able to change it, right? So it is based on their requirement. So they are going to accept it in the sense we are going to report that same thing in the report itself. We are going to make a document on that part. Okay. So if anything happens, they are the what you can say. Liable persons for that one. Okay, we're not going to responsible for the risk. Right. So the major of the operations will be happened in that one. So we're not going to avoid or mitigate that risk. So that time we need to accept that one. So as an auditor, so what I'm going to do is, so I'm going to create a complete documentation on this part. So this is the risk we have identified, but the management response is, so they are not going to mitigate or avoid that risk. So that's the reason they are going to accept that risk. This is what we're going to add in the report. Clear, ma'am?
Okay, sir.
For example, in many major banks, so they are using older version tools as well. So that those tools, financial tools, they only support for the Windows 7. Still they are using Windows 7. So they cannot upgrade because the tool is not going to support Windows 10 or 11. That is the risk, right? So if they want to upgrade, so the tool should be supported to the Windows 10 or 11. Okay, we cannot mitigate or reduce that one, right? Even we cannot avoid because major of the operations is going through that particular application. There we are going to accept that one.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay. So any other doubts? Okay, so in any organization, when it comes to approach, okay, so there will be two types. One is top-down approach, and another one is uh, bottom-up approach. So top-down approach in the sense, so all the strategies, requirements, all the implementation part decisions are come through top management. Okay, senior management. He might be MD, CEO, CTO, whoever it is. So he is going to decide that one. Okay, like I want to implement new policy in this one. I want to implement new server or new systems. So it's his decision. He's the senior person. He's the stakeholder. Okay, decision maker. So it is a top-down approach. From he through it will come to IT department or something like that. Okay. For example, so top-down approach in the sense, so he's the major guy in the company. For example, he is the MD, and below that one, so CTO or CFO, whoever it is. Okay, then comes someone else, another top leader. Okay, CTO below CTO, team lead or IT team head, whoever it is. Okay, so if he decides to implement new application or a software, okay, so he's going to instruct CTO that I want to change this one. So then they're going to implement. So this is the flow for the top down approach. Okay, so so if where they are following top down approach, advantages for top down approach is faster decision making and consistency will be there. Okay, because it is coming from the senior management. Okay, easier to align strategy. Well, so coming to the bottom up approach. So bottom up approach is in the sense, so if any incident happen or any new tool, new application needed to the employees or the interns or the even the CTO. Okay, so he is going to raise a ticket. For example, IT head, you can say we need a new server in the organization. So here he is going to implement. He needs to implement that one. For that one, he needs to raise the ticket for that one. He needs to create one documentation why we need all the details. What is the cost of that one? Cost efficient or not? All the details he need to create the complete proposal, send it to the CTO. Then again, CTO will review that one. Okay. Then again, it will goes to MD or whoever the senior manager. Okay, so if he approves, then only it will collect, and then only it will be released, right? So this is the bottom up approach. So from the bottom it will goes. Okay, so here the advantage is process optimization because senior management don't know what exactly they need, right? The employees need or what is the process, complete process. So there that is the advantage. Growth culture, so they are going to support all the ideas coming from the uh, lower management or lower employments. So it will be easy to grow. Okay, so disadvantage is they might not approve the things. Okay, it might get delayed in bottom up approach. Okay, they might ask more details of the things. Okay, so this is the top down and bottom up approach. Okay, even if, for example, if any incident happen, okay, for example, in the new intern has been joined to the company, unknowingly he clicked the phishing link, something has happened, so again he need to follow the procedure. So he need to raise the ticket to the IT team, and IT team to CTO, and CTO he is going to control that one. Okay, so again he will instruct that one do needful for the mitigate that incident, right? So there again, so he is going to take action for that one. So these are the few bottom up approach of examples. Okay, so when it comes to risk analysis and risk assessment, whatever the risk we have, we get. So we're going to analyze that risk and we do the risk assessment. Uh, Risk assessment process is identify the risk, okay, identify the incident or identify the uh, error. Okay, so identify people at risk. Okay, so you need to identify people as well. So department wise. Okay, so evaluate the risk. So you need to evaluate the risk, record the finding and implementation, documentation format, and the review that one. And again, this is the risk assessment process. So risk assessment methodology. So there are three types of methods in the risk. One is asset based risk assessment, and event based risk assessment, and threat based risk assessment. Okay, so there will be three types of methodologies: asset based, event based, and threat based. So what are these? Okay, so asset based in the sense, whatever the asset is there, asset registry, asset owner, identify threats and vulnerabilities. Okay, so in the companies, we are going to maintain asset registry of all the IT assets, IT related assets, or even the employees as well, right? So before entering into the college or to the organization, we are going to punch, right? Biometric will be there. We need to sign. We need to register the sign, right? Assigned to in that registry, right? So same as in the companies, so we're going to maintain IT assets. Okay, details. So number of laptops, laptop model details, operating system, which operating system they are using, all the server details, router details, which whatever the IT assets are there. Okay, so along with that one, customer data, partners documents, trade secret, these are also assets. People, this is also asset. Okay, so identify asset owners in the sense, so if I give a laptop to some employees, okay, so that is he's the owner for that asset. Okay, whatever it happens to that laptop, he is the responsible for that one. Okay, so we need to identify, prioritize the assets according to the legal standard importance to the organization. Okay, how it is important to that particular organization. Okay, that is also comes under in asset based risk assessment. Well, so event based in the sense, identify a risk based on security events. Okay, security events in the sense, vulnerability, weakness that can be exploited. Vulnerability through vulnerability assessment or analysis, audit reports, pen testing, scan tools. Okay, we're going to identify the vulnerabilities. So that is comes from the event. So any event can happen anytime, right? So threat, anything that can be exploited through hacker, natural disaster, system failure, accidental human interfaces, right? So insider or unknowingly, as I mentioned in the first go. Okay, accidental human interfaces as well. So that is event based. So maybe some events get triggered. So there we are going to get the risk. Okay. So threat risk based is analysis IT systems for vulnerabilities, remove potential threats. Okay, so these are the major three different methodologies we are going to assess in when it comes to a risk. Okay, well, so here IT based asset assessment is identify, prioritize assets, then identify the threats and vulnerabilities, identify the risk owners, analyze the control. Okay, so whatever the control you have selected, whatever the standard compliance frameworks you have selected, so you need to analyze those controls whether it is implementing or not. Okay, determine the likelihood of the incident. Okay, so assess the impact a threat could have. Okay, so here we have mentioned that one, likelihood, probability, and consequence impact. Okay, so based on that one, we need to prioritize the risk. Okay, then risk acceptance criteria, if it is accepting, so we need to check the criteria, then document the results. So this is the methodology we are going to follow when it comes to a risk assessment. For example, so asset is a document. Okay, so when it comes to documents, so threat, vulnerability, and the risk. So what is the threat? So documents might get theft, might burnt through fire, water damage. So if a roof is not properly this one, so water damage will be done uh, through that one. So this is the threat, right, for the organization, for the documents. This is the assets. Documents is assets. So vulnerability and risk. So what could be the vulnerability? So anyone can guess that one. What could be the vulnerability for that one? So if the asset is document, so threat will be theft. So internal or external theft can be happen. Okay, so fire will be there, water damage will be there. Okay, for example, so theft in the sense unlocked cabinets. Okay, so when theft happens, so there will be a few things will be there, right? Unlocked cabinets and no physical security, no register will be there, no physical security guards will be there. So anyone can access, anyone can comes into that premises and they can do whatever they want. So their theft, that is a vulnerability, right? Unlocked cabinets, something like that, right? So when it comes to fire, so any idea, any idea on vulnerability? What could be the vulnerability? So water damage.
For fire, maybe not safe electrical um, components, which may lead to some short circuit, leads to fire accidents.
Correct. Yes, ma'am. That is the vulnerability, right? Well, so this is the example. For example, threat is the theft, unlocked cabinet, and fire. No fire suspension systems are there. Maybe open wires are will be there. So through that one, fire may comes. Okay, water damage, leaky roof. That is the vulnerability, right? So what is the risk? So again, loss of confidentiality and availability of the information. So as I mentioned, whatever the risk is there, so CI triad will be associated with that risk. Okay, if theft happen, so confidentiality will lose the confidentiality and the availability. Even the documents are theft, so we are going to lose that availability as well to that particular documents, right? So fire, again, availability will be lost, and water damage, again availability will be lost. So this is the common risk. Okay, well, so another example, asset system administrator. Okay, so asset owner is system administrator, or else asset itself a system administrator. So what is the threat? So unavailability and frequent errors. Okay, so we will go with the first one, unavailability. Okay, so system administrator will be taking care of complete IT details, IT informations, right? So if he went to holiday around 15 to 20 days or 1 month itself, okay, he is the main assets for the IT operations, right? So unavailability is the threat. If it is not there, as I mentioned, so people is also a asset for the company. Okay, asset based people is also asset for the company, right? So threat is unavailability and frequent errors as well. For example, unavailability, there's no replacement for this position, so he went for the holidays, there's no replacement, or he might resign because of some issues. Okay, so he might not get the replacement for immediately for that position, right? So potential of availability. Okay, so there we're going to the risk is availability again. Frequent errors, lack of training. So while using the applications, they might get the errors, frequent errors, so they need training, right? KT. So vulnerability is lack of training, potential is integrity and availability. Okay, so these are the basic example for the risk and uh, vulnerability and risk. Okay, and one more thing is that email systems. So what if threat is email got hacked? Okay, so what is the vulnerability and what is the risk? Can anyone explain? So if email got hacked, what is the vulnerability and what is the risk?
They may reveal their username, password, and locations and all may inform to others unknowingly. Is it right, sir?
Okay,
They may share the details.
okay. So what is the risk? So what would be the risk? So it might be confidentiality, integrity, and availability. What would be the risk associated
Con-
with the email hacking?
The
Confidential.
data,
Confidential.
please ma'am,
Confidence.
please ma'am. May I?
Yes, ma'am.
Confidentiality, sir.
The data
Confidentiality.
can get stealed. It will be a risk in
Yes, ma'am.
email hacking.
Correct.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am. That is correct. Vulnerability is weak passwords or credentials get tapped, right? They might share the details to someone else. So that is the risk. Confidentiality and availability as well. So if they hacked email system itself, availability won't be there, right? So they might change the passwords. They may misuse that one. Okay. So this is the one. Okay. So hope you got clarity on these things. What is the threat, vulnerability, and risk? So threat in the self, the defined, we are going to define it as a uh, event. Okay. So vulnerability. So if it is the event is there, so how it is related to that one, to the company. What is the loss they are going to cause? Okay. Then risk. So whatever the vulnerability we got. So based on that one, what is the risk associated with that one? Okay, so this is the thing we are going to measure while when it comes to compliances or frameworks audits. Okay, so any doubts on these things?
Sir, you told three types, no? Asset-based, event-based, and threat-based. What is this difference between event-based and threat-based?
So threat based in the sense, so whatever the like threat in the sense, so it is coming through the external parties or even internal as well. Okay, so threat in the self. So for example, here can go back little bit. Event based in the sense, the any weakness or vulnerability hacking might be done, right? So this is the event based. Email hacking is done, right? So that comes in event basis. So that event might cause the risk to the organization. Okay, we cannot expect that one. So that is the event, right? So they it might come. Okay, so and another one is threat based. So threat based in the sense, uh, analysis IT systems for vulnerabilities. So basically, threat threat risk assessment is, so already the IT assets are there. Okay, we can expect some threats from those assets. Okay, so we are going to identify and prioritize those assets. So based on that assets, okay, for example, one web application I have hosted. Okay, so in that web application we might get some attacks, SQL injection, cross-site scripting, or any other attacks. So that is the threat based. So already threats are there, right? So we might accept this can be happen. That is a threat based. So event based, we cannot accept if this event might happen. Okay, maybe hackers can exploit that one, maybe through natural disaster, maybe through system failures. Okay, any event can happen anytime, right? For example, maybe the company is located nearby the any petrol pump or any gas station. Okay, maybe gas station might burn anytime, right? Exploit anytime. So that is the event, right? We cannot accept that one. So that comes in event based risk. Hope this one is clear, man.
Okay, sir. That events means which is happening around the environment. A threat means that is involving intruding into the software. That is the main difference, no, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sir.
Yes, any other doubts? So confidentiality, like if email got hacked, so there will be email communications will be there. It might be sensitive information or any purchase orders or whatever the details will be there, right? So there we are going to lose the confidentiality. I guess this is the question for the confidentiality. Okay. Okay, so identify a risk owners. So whatever the a risk owner in the sense a person or an entity with the accountability and authority to manage a risk. For example, asset owner of a server is system administrator, a risk owner head of the IT department. So he is the risk owner, asset owner is system administrator. Okay, so we need to identify the risk owners while you are doing the compliance audits. Okay, so analyze the correct controls. So if already controls are in place in that organization, so you need to analyze what are the controls are in place or planned, or they're going to implement whatever the things are there. Okay, two types of controls: technical, non-technical. Technical is completely related to IT, non-technical related to that complete premises or senior management level. Okay, so if we are compiling with the ISO 27001, so should be mapped to annex A controls when possible. Okay. So risk is equals to likelihood and impact. So consequences. So what might be the consequences there? Probability in the sense a risk is an event that may occur, right? The probability of it occurring the can range anywhere from just above 0% to 100%. For example, impact a risk by its very nature, uh, it has a negative impact to the organization. Okay, that is the impact. For example, probability in the sense it might occur. So email hacking has been done, right? So that is the threat which is done. Okay, so probability in the sense it already occurred, right? So the email hacking has been done. So what is the impact for the organization? They're going to lose the confidentiality and availability, confident details and availability of the email server or email thing, right? So that is the impact. So impact in the sense, so how much it got compromised, what is the thing they got compromised? The confidentiality, complete confidentiality has been compromised. That means 100% risk, right? So this is the very risky thing that happened to the organization. That is the impact. So okay, complete confidentiality and availability has been compromised. So this is the major lose for the loss for the company. So that is the impact. Based on the impact, we are going to give a factor. So for example, low to high critical level. Okay, so there are two types, qualitative and quantitative. So risk assessment. So qualitative in the sense, so we are going to analyze a risk through the numbers. Okay, probability of a risk event occurring and the impact risk will have if it is, if does occur. Okay, so for example, so low level risk, so physical security environment, so locked unlocked cabinets, so they comes under uh, risk low and medium, right? So if it is 1 to 2 score, so that is information. 2 to 4 which is low, 5 to 6 medium, 7 to 8 high, and 9 to 10 which is critical. So based on these ratings we're going to identify the risks. Okay, if it is related to availability and integrity and availability, those things comes under info low and medium. So when it comes to uh, confidentiality and integrity, so both, all three together, so that comes in critical and high. Okay, so this is how we are going to differentiate the risk from information to critical. Okay, so for information we're going to give one score, and two for the low, medium for three, critical for high for four, and five for critical. So based on this one we're going to calculate the risk. Okay, so critical, high, medium, low, and this is the risk assessment metrics which we are going to use while doing the audits. Okay, so we'll come back for this one, so how it works. Okay, well, any doubts on this one? So that is qualitative. And quantitative in the sense, so we're going to analyze the risk through the company requirement and the budget. Okay, overall the project what overall the project or risk is associated with the um, company's budget and the thing. Okay, value. So asset value, what percentage that is exposed to the uh, public. Okay, so all the details we're going to collect from the client. Okay, so well, any doubts till now? So this is the complete basics of the information security risk assessment for all the cyber security compliances and frameworks.
So risk and all maintained by the document basis or application oriented, sir, software oriented.
Documentations, ma'am. Whatever the risk, we are going to
Documentation.
identify
Not,
the. Yes.
okay. But it is possible to follow the software also, sir, separate their own.
Yes, ma'am. So when it comes to risk assessment, no, we are going to cover all the IT related assets. Okay. Risk methodology we are going to
Okay.
follow. We are going to document all the events.
It's,
So
that's why
qualitative and
easily trace out the. We can easily trace out the what all things it going on. These are all we can easily follow it.
yes,
Is it
ma'am.
right, sir?
Yes, exactly. So for example, let me showcase one information ISMS, ISO 2700 implementation. So there are some annexures are there. Okay, we're going to follow these annexures while implementing the uh, all the controls or the details, right? So this I will come back. So this is how we are going to maintain whether it is implemented or not. So for example, you asked for the this one IT related. So for IT related, I have technological controls. Okay, when it comes to people, okay, so I have one more section for that one, annexure 6. Like that, based on these things, we are going to control and document the details.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yes. So major difference between qualitative and quantitative is qualitative. It is based on the risk event. We are going to analyze. We are going to assign the risk rating. Quantitative is completely based on the cost of the organization. So, for example, if it is critical enough, okay, so organization should mitigate that thing. But due to budget constraint, so we're not able to do that for now. Okay, so it might be comes under next financial years, next budget year, or something like that. So that is the major difference which we are going to differentiate in between qualitative and quantitative. So what quantity it is causing the risk for the organization. Okay, based on that one, we are going to take a call. So whether it is easy to implement, then we are going to implement. Otherwise, in the next financial years, we are going to implement that one. Okay. Well, before starting ISO or any other compliance and frameworks, so can we have 10 minutes break?
Yes, sir. Okay.
Okay, so we can have 10 minutes break, then we'll start the session again.
Yes, sir. Sure, sure. You can have it.
Okay, shall we start? Restart the session.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, so coming to compliances, so ISO is our first compliance, so which is related to cyber security. In ISO, there are many compliances, audits are there, standards are there. So you might heard ISO 2700900, or many other ISO certifications you might heard. 42001, 21001 for educational purpose. Many things are there, right? So what is ISO basically? ISO is International Organization for Standardization. So it's a non-governmental organization, international organization. So there are around 168 national standards bodies are there in the ISO, International Organization for Standardization. So what their major intention is there? So they want to bring a standardization in the organizations. Any organization you can take. It might be IT, it might be manufacturing, it might be educational institutes, or any organization you might take. Okay, so there the ISO were born in 1947. Okay, 1947, and the first ISO standard have been published. Okay, so ISO 9000 is the mother of all standards, which is the covers major things in that one. So hence we are going to call it as a mother of all standards, ISO 9000. So in 9000 itself, there are many standard bodies will be there. Okay, so this is ISO. So for now, so there were around 24,000 plus international standards are there, ISO standards are there. So they might cover all the technology aspects of technology management, manufacturing, or any other thing. Okay, 168 members representing ISO in their country, and 818 technical committees and subcommittees were formed to develop standards for the ISO. Okay, so 64,000 plus different ISO standards were there. Okay, so few basic standards are quality management standards, which is related to a 9000 family. Okay, so quality management in the sense help work more efficiently and reduce the production failures. Okay, and then environmental management standards 14,000. Okay, so when it comes to health and safety standards, 45,001. So then emergency management standards, food safety standards. So you might see these things in the food packets, which are comes in packets. So you will see ISO 22,000 or 9001 as well. And when it comes to IT security standards, 27001. Okay, it keeps sensitive information secure. Then, well, when it comes to ISO 27001 or any ISO standard you can take. Okay, so there we are going to follow an actual SL structure. Okay, so this is a structure. It will give high level structure for ISO management systems and standards. So whatever the ISO standard you might take, so we're going to follow these annexure SL standard level, high level standard, clause 1 to 10. So any ISO standard you might take. So we're going to follow these 10 clauses. Based on these 10 clauses, we're going to do the auditing, ISO compliance auditing. Okay. So here, this will streamline the standards, encourage standardization. Is the it will easy to implement and manage the things. Okay, so basically what does these clause high level standard will do? Okay, so clause 1 to 10. Clause 1, scope. So whenever we are going to do the auditing, okay, we are going to plan implementing the auditing. Okay, so there will be two kind. One is implementation and another one is auditing. So implementation, in the sense we are going to implement with the help of these 10 clauses. To implement the ISO, so clause 1, we need to cover all the scopes. So for example, your organization, your company, or your educational institute wants to go for the ISO. Okay, for that one we need the scoping. So what should be included, what should not be included, all the details will be there. Okay, so for example, if you have multiple branches, so what are the branches should be included in the scope? Okay, what are the technical, non-technical, what are the internal assets should be included or not included, all the details, all the scoping will be done in the clause first only. Based on the scoping, we are going to plan the remaining clauses. Okay, so if it is defined, so then again normative references, so we are going to take references from the ISO standards. Then we are going to define the terms and definitions. Okay, then comes major things start from the clause 4 to 10. So class 1 to 3 are basically a documentation related to organization scoping, what should be included, not included, whether ISO already done or not, what controls we need to implement, everything will be there. Okay, we are going to inform the clients, this is the terms and definitions, so we are going to implement from the this one. Okay, then clause 4, context of the organization. So in clause 4, in the context of the organization, in the sense, all the stakeholder details, roles and responsibilities, all the details, internal external issues. Okay, internal in the sense, so if it is lagging in any technical, non-technical environment, we are going to fix those things. So that we are going to define in the context of the organization. External issues in the sense legal, it might be legal, it might be regional, it might be coming through any customers, third party customers, it is coming through the external parties. Okay, that is we are going to define in the context of the organization. Then again, roles and responsibility, if the company is running, if the organization is running, so there might be some roles, right? So some role wise kind of we're going to give. For example, principal will be there, below principal we will get HOD, then again we'll get other what you say, lecturers or something like that, right? So like that only in companies as well. MDC, then comes CEO, CTO, CFO, whatever there, and then that wise hierarchy will be there, no? So we're going to define the complete hierarchy and their roles and responsibilities. Why? Because so if we are hiring someone for the particular what you can say employment, okay, if they are doing for example, we are hiring HR. Okay, the HR duty is to hire JML. Okay, so they need to manage the joiner, they need to manage the remove like movers, and they need to manage the removers, whatever the things are there, they need to do their work. Okay, I hire a HR, and I will give him a this one IT management service, management managing the IT, complete IT infrastructure. So you cannot do, right? He or she, HR cannot do that one. So for that reason, we are going to define each and every roles which are present in that company, which are present in that particular department. So we are going to define the complete departments, how many departments are there: HR department, senior management, and then sales and marketing, and social media department, IT department. Okay. So this is how we are going to define all the details about that company that comes under in context of the organization. Okay, so then comes leadership. Hope this one is clear. Okay, Mike. Context of the organization. Basically, you are going to cover all the details related to that company. Okay, then comes leadership. So we are going to have a kickoff meeting with the company's stakeholders, directors. Okay, we are going to inform this is the policy, ISO policy. For example, 27001, we are going to implement. This is why you need this is the things we are going to cover in that one. So we're going to take the acceptance letter from them. So this is what we're going to do, right? So in clause 5, leadership and policies. So we're going to develop the policies. So as we mentioned, standardization, standards we selected, which is ISO 27001, right? Let me go back for a while here. Standard, we selected ISO 27001 and the policies. So in clause 5, leadership. So once the approval is we got approved, we got. So then we are going to create the policies related to that organization, policies and procedures. Okay, that comes under leadership. Okay, so leadership in the sense like, so here we are going to create all those things based on the context of the organization and the scope. Okay, so once the policy and procedures are developed, again clause 6, planning. So planning in the sense we're going to do the, in ISO 27001 we're going to do the risk assessment of all the IT non-IT related devices or the system or the people as well. Okay, we're going to take the risk assessment plan in the clause 6, which is planning. Whatever the gaps are there, gap management planning. So everything will be done in the clause 6. Clause 6, 7, and 8 are the major things in the ISO standardizations. Okay. So here, for example, planning. So if they have a website, mobile application, network devices in their premises, so we're going to do the penetration testing and vulnerability assessment in their organization. So we are going to prepare one report for that one, risk assessment report, risk assessment thing. Okay. Uh, then comes support, which is clause 7. So if they were lagging in any department, any aspect, okay, standard operating procedures, if they are missing, any documentations are missing, okay, we are going to help them to create those procedures. We're going to help them to create those guidelines, implement those guidelines in clause 7. Also, along with those supports, we're going to train the employees, all the employees related to ISO standardization. So what is ISO, what you need to do, or how to secure yourself, okay, what you no need to do, all the details we're going to train them on clause 7. Then comes clause 8, okay, operation. Operation, in the operation, so all the clause 1 to 7 are implemented or not, whether it is proper or not, whether it is going on based on that particular standardization planning or requirements. So we are going to check all the operations whether it is proper or not. Then comes clause 9, which is performance evaluation. So here we are going to do the internal audit checklist. We are going to take out the internal audit plan here in the clause 9. Then so whatever we have done in the leadership planning support, so we are going to evaluate in the clause 9 if it is confirmed, if it is implemented, so implemented or not, all the details we are going to cover here. Okay, so compiled or not, everything will be mentioned here. And then clause 10, which is improvement, if it is not implemented, if it is coming as a non-conformity, so we're going to take it in the improvement. So next financial year we might improve that one, maybe we might change that one, we might avoid that one, we are going to ignore that one. So like that, based on the requirements, it will be there, improvement. Okay, so this is clause 10. So clause 1 to 10 we are going to cover in all the ISO standards. We are going to follow for all the 20,000, 24,000 plus standards, ISO standards. We are going to follow this annex SL. Okay, from clause 1 to 10. Any doubts in this one? Okay, So benefits, so improved business performance, improved risk and opportunity management, enhanced reputation, increased efficiency, so improved integration. So this is why we are going to go for ISO standardization during an ISO audit. Okay, so what we need to do, look for the improvements that can be made to the systems, verify the problems to the within the management. All the details we're going to cover. Okay, so ISO audits types, there are three types: first party, second party and third party. Okay, so first party in the sense internal audits in the sense, so in the organization the implementer will be there only. We hired an implementer, so he is going to do the first party audit. So he is the first party, so he is in the within the organization. Okay, so no need to depend on the cybersecurity firms. Okay.
क्या करूं फिर उसके लिए कि नहीं लगूं प्यारी तेरे को?
Okay, and then second party audit in the sense, so we don't have any internal auditors in our organization, we don't have much budget for them. So for that one, we're going to depend on the cybersecurity consultants or firms like us. So we do ISO 2700, whatever the ISO standards are there, behalf of the company. Okay, we are going to represent that company. We are going to make sure the all the controls, quality requirements are satisfied for the ISO. Okay, we'll do the risk assessment behalf of them. We are going to do the complete implementation as a second party. Then comes third party, which is certification body. Okay, so they are going to come and check the audit reports which is prepared by first party or second party. Okay, so if first party is available, then fine and well and good. Otherwise, if they depended on any cybersecurity firm, so they're going to check the audit report which they have prepared, which they have implemented. So based on that one, conformity, non-conformity, they are going to issue the certification. Okay, so when it comes to certifications, there are many famous certification bodies are there for ISO 27001, which is BV, which is Bureau Veritas, and TUV SUD, which is a famous one again, and CIS BSI, okay, which is standard one, TV Node, okay. So like that, there are many certification bodies are there for ISO standardization. Okay, they comes under third party audit. Okay, so once implementation is done, the second stage will be completed. Then in the first stage, we are going to do the implementation part. So it might be documentation review, documentation creation, scope of the management systems, gathering all the information, audit checklist, uh, so satisfying all these requirements, clause 5 to 8. Okay, so once it is done in the stage 1, then stage 2, which is certification board, will come. Okay, so they are going to check all the standards, controls which are implemented. So then based on that one, they're going to give the certification. Okay, then so once the certification is issued, okay, there will be 2 surveillance or 3 surveillance audits will be there. Then after 3 years, so reassessment will be there after 3 years. Okay, so again all the activities we need to start from the basics. The first surveillance visit takes place yearly. Okay, every year they are going to visit. So in the certifications, the major difference between in IAF and non-IAF. Okay, so in the ISO certifications, there you might get. Let me showcase that one. ISO 2700. Okay. So this is the example for the for ISO certification ISO 2700 2013. Okay, so this is the scope what we discussed in the third clause. The information security management is applicable to IT operations department, or the scope you are going to mention that will be printed on the certification. Okay, initial approval 2018. Okay, issue date 21, valid till 24, 3 years. Okay, you'll get certificate number and all other things. So here you can see IAF. Okay, so IAF in the sense International Accreditation Forum. Okay, so if it is there, that means that is valid internationally. Okay, globally it will be recognized. Okay, many companies were not aware of this one, so they will give the money and get the non-accredited certifications, which is even not valid in the India as well. Okay, so the major difference between IAF and non-IAF is IAF in the sense International Accreditation Forum. Okay, so the certification body is accredited by the IAF members itself. So 168 members were there, no? So that is accredited by those members. So it will strictly follow the ISO rules. Okay, these certifications are globally recognized. Okay, so higher price for the audits. Surveillance audits is mandatory for the IF accredited certification. So valid for 3 years. Okay, non-IF is non-recognized by the IF, not globally recognized. Okay, cheaper price as no audit required. So here, if it is non-IF, they are not going to do the audits. Directly they will give the certification. Okay, so there is no surveillance audits, but it is valid for the 3 years only for marketing and branding. So in initial stage, cyber security, startup companies, MSMEs, so whatever the companies are there, so they will go for the non-IF, but which is not recognizable. Okay, uh, then comes ISO 27K family. Okay, so it's related to ISMS, information security management systems. Okay, so in this one, it covers all the security, privacy, IT issues, all the things. Okay, so here you can see this is the complete family terminology of the ISO 27K, 27K. Okay, general requirement. So here we are going to implement ISO 27001. To satisfy these requirements, so we are going to use all the guidelines from different standards, okay, which is related to 27K terminology or family. Okay, so at the end we're going to satisfy the requirement for the ISO 27001. So for example 27006, which is a certification body requirements, we're going to satisfy those things. Code of practice, implementation guide, measurements. Okay, health organization, risk management, which is coming from 27005, audit guidelines, all the things will take it from the different standards. So overall, we are going to satisfy 27001. Okay. So ISO 27001 specifies requirements for ISMS clause 4 to 10 as I mentioned. So the major things will be covered in ISO clause 4 to 10. So clauses in the sense requirements, we are going to satisfy all those requirements. Well, so when it comes to ISO 27001, so there will be annexure A that can have 14 clauses and 35 controls and 114 controls as well. Okay, so auditee can obtain certification against this standard. Auditee in the sense company, organization, or the client. Okay, he can get the certification for ISO 27001. So when it comes to any ISO certification, any standardization in the ISO, so there will be 4 different methods. So plan, do, check, and act. So we are going to plan the ISO implementation. So we'll do the test potential solutions, clause 4 to 10, clause 5 to 8. Then check clause 9 and clause 10. or you can say clause 9 only. Check study results. In the clause 9, we are going to do the implement internal audits. Act, implement the best solutions, which is clause 9 and 8. Sorry, clause 9 and 10. Okay. Well, so plan phase, we are going to obtain management support, define ISMS scope, develop the policy, do plan, do phase early. So we are going to do implementation controls, conduct training and awareness, which is clause 6, 7 and 8. Check phase, clause 9, monitor ISMS, conduct internal audits, perform management review. Act phase, implement the corrective and preventive actions to satisfy the requirement. Okay. So annexure A, so it will start from section 5 to 18. Okay, so 114 controls will be there. So ISO 2700235 so these are the supporting guidelines. We are not going to get the certifications against these uh, standards, because these are the supporting guidelines, not the certification. We are not going to implement these certifications. Okay, well, so whatever the certifications we can perform or do ISO related, so there will be one SOA, which is statement of applicability. Okay, so whatever the applicable statements are there, we are going to use in the SOA, statement of applicability, which is related to ISMS, Information Security Management System. Okay, so for example, so as I mentioned, so annex A to A5 to 10, annexure A5 to 18. So there are different domains are there in the ISO 27001, information security policies, organization of information security, HR security, asset management, asset control, access control, cryptography, physical and environmental security. So there are around 15 controls, which is belongs to annexure 11, like that. So we're going to implement all the domains. Okay, so if the controls are related to that particular organization, we're going to implement in that organization. Okay, so there are 5 steps are there. So we need to understand the ISO requirements and controls, conduct risk assessment, complete the risk assessment and treatment plan, then select the appropriate ISO 27001 controls for the organization, prepare the SOA, statement of applicability. For example, so this is the statement of applicability. Okay, so policy, for example, so A5, which is organizational controls, A6, which is people control, A7, which is physical control, and A8, which is technical control. So it will cover whole 93 controls in this one. Okay, few controls will be related to documentations. We cannot provide the evidences for that. Okay, here you can see policy A, annexure 5.1. Okay, which is policies for information security, whether the policies are developed or in place in that particular organization. Yes or no? If it is applicable, yes. Okay, so we need to provide the security policies. Okay, whether control implemented or not. Yes. Okay, so information security roles and responsibilities, as I mentioned in the clause 4, we need to cover that one, like that. So again, so in many companies they don't have uh, what you can say a remote work from home policy. Okay, their remote work from home policy won't work, right? So that time we're going to go get say it as a no, and then we need to give the justification why it is not applicable. So when it comes to people control, okay, this is related to organization, how the organization is running, and we're going to set the standard policies for the things. Okay, then comes people control, which is most probably HR related, screening while taking the employee. So whether the employment background checks are done, is he have any criminal things, how the round interview rounds were doing, all the screens has properly done or not, everything will be there. Terms and conditions for the employees, awareness education training, okay, disciplinary procedures processes, and remote working. If it is not, we need to mention all the things, and NDAs, SLAs agreements will be there. Okay, then physical controls, physical premises controls will be here. Okay, for example, physical security monitor. Yes, how? Through CCTV. Like that, we're going to give all the details and satisfy the requirement. Okay, if it is not, so we need to justify them why it is not there, and when it is going to implement, what is the duration. Okay, all the details and technological controls related to all the technologies relate, like Windows, uh, network based, application based, cloud based, IoT based, whatever it is. So we're going to cover all the things in the technological controls. Okay, so these are the annexures we are going to follow while doing implementation of the ISO standardization. For example, threat, vulnerability, risk type, risk owner, risk level, and risk treatment. Okay, so malicious insider, DOS attack, loss of power, and software errors. So what is the error? So what is the vulnerability for that one? Okay, malicious insider threats, as I say, an employee or trusted third party access data in an unauthorized manner from inside the network. So again, we'll lose the confidentiality. Risk owner is CISO. Okay, CISO or CTO or system administrator, who is the responsible for that one. And risk level is high. Treatment, we can modify that one. If they are accessing, we can modify using. We can change the password. We can restrict the access controls. We can do these things. We can modify that one. So as already we discussed, avoid, modify, accept, right? So these are the things. Okay, so if DDoS attack launched, so again, a risk is loss of availability. So again, risk owner will be CISO. So treatment is modified. We can modify the things. Okay, software errors, financial system process invoices incorrectly due to bug. Okay, so again, integrity will be lost. So IT manager is the risk owner, so it will comes under in medium. So modify, we can modify. Okay, so these are the few examples for threat, vulnerability, risk, and what is the risk level and treatment. Okay, so treatment plan again. So we are going to map those risks to controls. So ISO 27001 controls, which is annexure A applicabilities, right? So we are going to map all the risks to that SOA, standard of applicability. Okay, so to this one, statement of applicability. Okay, so here 5.15, which is control access to sensitive information. Yes, access is there. So justification, protect trade secrets, sensitive data. Implementation method, policy developed and communicated properly, which means procedures are there. Okay, so yes, in progress, status, completed, in progress, ongoing. So you need to mention all the details, okay, in the report. So when internal audits, so clause 9, okay. So there we're going to audit period, scope, criteria, methods, and auditor details. So we are going to add all the details. Okay. So steps of internal audits is, once clause 4 to 8 has been done, has been documented, then we're going to go for the internal audit, which is clause 9. Document review, create checklist, write the audit plan, main audit reporting, corrective actions. Okay, we are going to follow up the things. So document review, how you are going to do the document review? So get familiar with the organization. So how the organization is working, what is the procedure they are following, what are the services, what are the customers, what are the stakeholders are there. Okay, so like that we are going to check all the services and products, how it is working, how the website is working, everything we need to go through that one. Okay, then create a checklist based on the documentation review or the commitment with the management. Okay, so whatever they provide, so based on that one we're going to create the checklist. Okay, so based on checklist, whether they are compliant or not, evidences, we are going to check. So if it is compliant, yes. So otherwise, no, we need to provide. Okay. Then we need to prepare the audit plan. So main audits will be done. Then so corrective actions clause 10, we need to uh, check for the non-conformities which are given through from the auditors. So we need to take action to correct those uh, risks. Okay. Then yeah. So these are the things which we are going to follow while we are doing implementing any ISO certification, ISO standardization standards. Okay. Well, any doubts in this one?
So new startup companies also, it is possible for satisfy all points, sir, for the IS auditing done.
Yes, sir. It is possible. It is based on the organization and the top management commitment. If they're interested enough to satisfy these things, so yes, it can.
Yes, this is a new company only, sir. How can we statistics and all can we take from the previous year document and all? How it is possible, sir?
No,
New startup
for
company.
example, yeah. So for new startup companies, so we're going to implement ISO from the scratch. Okay. So here we can. Yeah. So, for example, a new startup company, they don't have knowledge on that one. They're going to hire someone, okay, for second from the second party audit. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, so I'm going to create the policy procedure documentations based on their requirement. So I'm going to implement all the clauses in their company. Okay. So if it is applicable, I will add all the details. If it is not, I will ignore those things, and I will create the final checklist for them. Okay. So based on that one, they are going to get the certification, sir.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
For example, let me show one example. Okay, so here you can see one of our client we are doing the ISO certification. So we're going to start from the context of the organization is already taken. Okay, then leadership planning, support operation, performance evaluation, improvement, and the policies which is related to those things. So policies we already created, which is what you can say uh, startup company. Okay, so leadership. So we took organization chart, roles and responsibility letters from the top management. So planning, in the planning phase, we have, for example, asset-based risk. So information, network, hardware. So the domain, scenario, opportunity. So then network related, for example, network storage will be there. Okay. Uh, then threat will be ransomware attack, encrypt all data connected to the network. So vulnerability, anti-malware software is not best for the breed. So we're going to add that one. A risk type is availability. Okay, risk owner, we're going to define risk owner. Okay, if there are any existing controls, we're going to mention. Otherwise, if it is first time, so we're going to ignore this one. So likelihood impact based on the availability. So we're going to add the risk score. Okay, so the treatment option, which is can modify, right? So that we are going to add. Okay, so treatment action, which is in the process. So how many months, days they need? So we're going to define that one. They need 3 months for that one. Okay, annexure controls, which is related to A 8.7, 8.13. So like that. Okay, proposed treatment action is improved backup and anti-malware software. So latest updated antiviruses. Okay, daily they need to scan. Backups they need to take daily, right? Like that we are going to define.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So, um, any other doubts? Okay. Well, the same methods, same things will be followed in other compliances, other frameworks as well. Okay. For example, so here NIST cybersecurity framework will be there. So framework is not the mandatory requirement as I mentioned. Okay, so here for NIST framework, so we're going to follow these four, five steps: identify, protect, detect, respond, and recover. So we're going to identify the risk, protect from that risk, detect the action plan, respond to that risk, and the recover. So this is the NIST security framework. Then PCI DSS, payment card industry data security standard. Okay, so it is formed in 2004 by Visa, Mastercard, and Discover Financial Services. Okay, and American Express as well. Governed by the it is governed by the Payment Card Industry Security Standards Council, PCI SSC. Okay, so basically PCI DSS certification is for security of card data at your business through a set of requirements established by the PCI SSC, okay, Security Standards Councils. So, for example, common well-known best practices are installation of firewalls, encryption of data transmission, use of antivirus softwares, and all other things. So, all the things are same itself, but the levels will be different. Okay, when we are going to implement the PCI DSS compliance, so there will be four levels: level one, level two, level three, and level four. So based on their net worth or transaction for a year, so based on that one, we are going to use the levels. Level four, which is below 20K; level three, 20 to 1 million; and level two, which is 1 to 6; and level one, which is 6 plus million transactions a year for a year. Okay, so PCI DSS requirements and goals. Okay, for example, protect cardholder data. So what is the requirement we need? Protect stored cardholder data, which is related to confidentiality again and accessibility as well. Encryption, transmission of cardholder data, access, open, public network, all the details again. So the what you can say requirement list is different, but whatever we're going to create the evidence or policies will be almost related to all the compliances as well. Okay, uh, for example, maintaining a vulnerability management program, so protect all the systems against malware and regularly update antivirus. So same you can expect in the ISO 27009 as well, NH as well, and COBIT as well. Like that we're going to implement these things. Okay, so then GDPR, General Data Protection Regulation. So GDPR is when we are going to deal with the UK-based companies. Okay, so data protection and regulation globally. For that reason, they brought up this one. So in India, for now, we are bringing up the DPDP Act as well. Okay, we're going to align with that one. Right. So GDPR, same thing. So why you need GDPR principles will be there. Okay. Why you need data minimization, accuracy, storage limits, integrity, and confidentiality. Okay. So again, there will be three phases. Phase one, so we are going to engage with the stakeholders and why we need GDPR and all other things, like as we did in ISO clause 1 to 4, right? So 1 to 3. Phase 3, operate. So we're going to implement like in ISO. So clause 5 to 8, right? So maintain, which is clause 9 to 10, like that only. So okay, so in phase one, again, so there are few activities A to G, and operate. Phase two, operate to operate. So HL, and phase three, maintenance. So M to Q. So these are the activities we are going to carry while implementing the GDPR. Okay, so most of the things are related to each and every compliances. Okay, they are going to map each other. Okay, so this is all about compliances. Okay. Any doubts in this part? Yes, any doubts? Okay. Well, so however, we're discussing on cloud, sorry, compliances. So I'll go with the cloud compliances itself. Okay. So cloud compliance. Okay. So hope my screen is visible. Okay. So cloud compliance. So when we are using cloud-based platforms, cloud services. Okay. So there we are going to use cloud compliances. So cloud compliances in the sense some common regulatory required, including the health, payment, PCI DSS, GDPR, ISO 27001, same thing only we are going to implement. So based on that one, we are going to use the whatever the controls are applicable for the cloud platforms based on the cloud service providers. Okay, we are going to implement, design the program. Okay, compliance program, actors, business organization, actors in the sense stakeholders, directors, business or organization, governance, cloud perspective, risk perspective. So in normal web applications, if we hosted in the any other platforms, so there will be a different approach, risk approach will be there. If it is hosted in the cloud, we have restrictions. For that, we need to take care of both cloud and risk perspective. Okay, so actors identify key stakeholders. So we need to design again, as we mentioned in the leadership clause 4, class 5. Okay, so we need to or GDPR phase 1. So we need to discuss with the stakeholders, identify the stakeholders, and decide what we need to implement. Okay, so based on the business or organization perspective, so different points of view, we need to balance the perspective of the business and cloud computing perspective of the organization. Okay, so governance and risk management will be there. So we cannot perform everything at once. So in the cloud platform, so that is the major issue in here. Okay, so governance in the sense, so alignment with the governance requirements, internal policies, external policies we need to develop, applicable laws and regulations based on the regions need to develop, uh, technical standards, relevant certification, and attestations we need to do. Okay, cloud service platforms and organizational system consideration is So in many cloud platforms, they have restricted areas to do the pen testing, to do the vulnerability assessment, to do the risk assessment. Okay, to manage the risk thing. So based on the cloud service platforms, so we need to collect all the details from them. Based on them only, then that only we can do the risk assessment on the enterprise level. Okay, so governance, we're going to define the governance. So enterprise risk management based on the cloud platforms. So then comes information risk management, whatever the things we are going to get. So based on that one, we are going to do the information security audits. Okay, cloud governance in the sense, so types of the data process that are allowed to migrate into the cloud. Okay, location, jurisdiction to maintain the data, all the requirements we are going to check. Okay, based on that one only, so we're going to plan the gap assessment, which is cost management, compliance, portability, and interoperability, and SLA agreements we need to collect from each and every cloud service providers or platforms if it is uh, working on the cloud module or cloud platform. Okay, so there will be two types. One is information risk management, overall management of the risk for an organization. Information risk management, which is related for the information of the organization. Okay, so shared responsibility models, already you know this, right? So again, as risk, vulnerability, and threat, we're going to take it. Okay, so when it comes to cloud compliance and cloud risks as well, same thing we're going to follow. So avoid the risk, mitigate the risk, transfer the risk, or accept the risk. Same kind of things we're going to follow in the cloud platforms as well. Okay, so hybrid cloud versus multi-cloud in the sense, so cloud computing architecture that combines a private with public cloud. Multiple in the sense, we are going to use multiple public cloud instances. Okay, so multiple cloud security. So in some companies, few companies, they are going to use multiple cloud platforms: AWS, Azure, Google platform, Oracle cloud, or any other platforms. So if they are using a multi cloud platforms, so there will be major security challenges are there. Okay, so diverse regulatory landscapes, complex data governance. So it will be more complex to manage, monitor, and process the data. Okay, because they're using multi clouds, and security concerns as well. So that comes in mind. Vendor management as well. So we need to have a good coordination and when understanding of their compliances under management. So based on that one, that thing, so in any compliance, we are going to create a vendor management policy procedures. So we do have po- SLA documents, NDAs, and how the vendor is doing, and regularly we need to collect from the vendors whether they have done their side VA or PT assessments, or everything risk assessment has been done or not. So we need to collect all the evidences from them. So these are the things will be included in the cloud security or multi-cloud security. Okay, so these are the biggest challenges. So multi-cloud compliance in the sense, again, so which is related to inventory and classification, compliance management, network security, IAM, in identity and access management security. These are the major things we're going to focus on cloud or multi-cloud compliance, data security, vulnerability management, workload security, automated investigations, and a response. Okay, so the audit challenge is transparency. So there are restricted areas in the cloud platforms. Third-party admins are going to manage. Okay, co-location, shared responsibilities. So these are the major challenges which we are going to face while doing the audits. Okay, so here you can implement ISO 27001 or 27017, information security policies, organization access control, operation security, all the details you are going to cover. So again, you can use GDPR or PCI DSS as well. Okay, So cloud controls matrix CCM. So in cloud, so there are around 133 controls and 16 different domains will be there. Okay, so these are the 16 different domains. In these 16 domains, so we have around 133 controls. So application and interface security, okay, in identity and access management. So this is one particular domain. In this domain, there are many controls are there. Mobile security, okay, incident management, threat and vulnerability management, encryption, key management, data center security. So these are different domains. In these domains, so we have different controls. Okay. So for example, when it comes to AWS, so management and governance, security, identity and compliances. So we are going to get all the details over there. Okay. So in AWS audit toolkit, so there are many inbuilt audit toolkits are there. Okay. So AWS Identity Access Management, CloudWatch, which is related to monitoring and logging in, Cloud Trial, so complete AWS monitoring, configuration settings, control tower, incident management. If any incident trigger, event management will be there. Uh, uh, so they will get a notice notice for that incident. Okay, then AWS Audit Manager as well. Okay, so whether all the things are satisfied or not, so it will give the results. Again, when it comes to Azure, so Active Directory will be there. Azure Monitoring, Key Wallet, Key Vault, Policy, Security Center. Azure Security Center is there. Okay, so again, so here you can see the different tools are there. Cloud Native Firewall. So in AWS, native firewall will be AWS WAF, Azure Firewall. In Google Cloud Platform, it is GC Armor. So we're going to check whether the firewall are set or not, whether they are enabled or not, activated or not. Data loss prevention. So in all other platforms, network security. Okay, network security is VPC, virtual network, and again in Google Cloud, it is VPC only. And security management, monitoring and logging in, we are going to use CloudWatch, Azure monitoring, Stack driver in GCP, like that. So these are a few domains which we have. So based on these domains, we are going to develop some checklist for the controls. Based on the requirement, we are going to do the audits. Okay. So this is related to cloud compliance and cloud security. So again, when it comes to cloud, so we're going to use different methodologies, which is related to OWASP top 10 also, if it is there. Okay. So again, if it is, it might be a cloud or IoT, whatever it is. So we are going to follow up same things. Okay, the same modules itself, so which are interconnected each other, right? Well, so any other doubts? Okay. So cloud IoT related compliances, AI based compliances, quite more in depth topics. So we need to do in the controlled environment, and also we need to go with the practical demonstration. Then only you can get the complete picture of the things. Hope whatever I covered, you guys get that one. Okay. So coming to the last topic, which is vulnerability assessment, vulnerability management. Okay. So before that one, let me go back a little back. So So I don't have that one. Difference between vulnerability assessment and pen testing. Okay. So pen testing, basically whatever the vulnerabilities we'll get, so we're going to exploit that one in vulnerability assessment. So we're going to only check the vulnerabilities and patch up the vulnerabilities. So we're going to identify the vulnerabilities, analyze those vulnerabilities. Okay, what is it is, what the vulnerability is there, what is the risk is there. Based on that one, we're going to do the risk assessment, and we're going to do the remediation for those vulnerabilities. Okay. Uh, so vulnerability assessment is the process of identifying, classifying, and prioritizing the security vulnerabilities in the IT infrastructure. Whatever the IT infrastructure is there, so we're going to prioritize those VA. We're going to do the VA for them. Vulnerability assessment. So there are different types of vulnerability assessment. Uh, Network-based assessment, possible network security. We're going to check host-based. Okay, used to locate, identify vulnerabilities in servers, workstations, and other network host. Okay, so we might use nmap as well for this one, to check the network open ports and services. And wireless network assessment, which is related to Wi-Fi, IoT devices as well, in the infra. Application assessment, which is based on the web application, APIs, and cloud platforms as well. Okay, so database assessment, database uh, vulnerability assessment, which is related to servers, databases which are hosted. Okay, so basically it will check for the vulnerabilities, misconfigurations, all other things. And vulnerability assessment process. So vulnerability identifying. So we're going to identify the vulnerabilities using some scanning tools. Okay, so basically vulnerability assessment is based on the scanning tools itself. Okay, so we're going to analyze those things: risk assessment, remediate, and mitigation. Yeah, so vulnerability assessment and pen testing. What is the major difference between these two is, in vulnerability assessment, automated scanning. We're not going to do it manually. Less time consuming. Passive scanning, wide scope, no exploitation. We are not going to exploit this one. So in pen testing, automated and manual testing will be included. More time consuming. Aggressive scans will be there. Focused scope. Okay, we're going to focus on particular risk or threat, exploitation after discovering any vulnerabilities. Okay, so here we are going to use tools like Nikto, Akunetics, and Map, and Nessus as well. Okay, so Nikto is a free open source tool which you can get in Linux platforms like Kali Linux, Parrot operating system, or any other Linux operating system. Akunetics, which is a paid one. Okay, that is the best one in the market. And then Map, again, it's an open source tool. Okay, which you are going to use in both vulnerability assessment and penetration testing as well. Okay, so then comes a Nessus. So Nessus is also both you can get, which is you can say a Nessus tenable Nessus is there. So it you will get free version as well, also pro version as well. So you need to pay for that one. Okay, so in Nessus you can use free one, or pro version you will get 7 days free version. Okay, so for example, Nessus, so it will automatically run on port number 8834. Okay, so this is a Nessus free version. So in free version you can scan limited what you can say IP addresses. So I cannot create now, so limit is already reached. Okay, this is the interface of this one. So if you click on create new scan, so you'll get few options: basic scan, host scan. So like that, different scanning methods will be there. So you can use those methods. Okay. Well, so these are the things in vulnerability assessment. Okay. Apart from these, any doubts, any queries? Okay, this is it all about compliances and frameworks and cloud compliance and multi-cloud compliance. So in multi-cloud compliance, we are going to map each and everything between different cloud platforms. They have their own checklist to do the testing or auditing. So I need to follow those checklists in that when it comes to cloud platforms, multi-cloud platform. Okay, so then vulnerability assessment. So we're going to use different tools to do the scanning of the IT assets. Okay, so hope this session were helped you in terms of compliances and frameworks. Okay, so thank you all.
Okay, sir. Um, Thank you, sir, for your active participation in this particular ATAL sponsored FTP. On behalf of our Institute of Engineering and Technology, I extend a thanks for heartful thanks to you and also all the participants in this particular event. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you all.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Please share the PPT, sir, so that I will share it on to the all the participants.
Sure, sir.